Welcome, weary travelers. Please make yourselves at home. I, Homer, shall tell you a tale of the rusted tired bones of full life. Long ago, in a land where rugged cliffs meet grassy seas, there lived a unique people. These ancient people called themselves the Hellenes, but we probably know them better by their Roman name, the Greci, or in your tongue, the Greeks. The Greeks valued wisdom and beauty and they excelled in art, literature, architecture, and athletics, and built their kingdoms to reflect those values. The Greeks were surrounded by many neighbors who worshipped hideous gods of wood and stone, fearful gods who enjoyed human sex with their. The Greeks prided themselves in being unlike their foolish neighbors. Instead of roughly carved, cruel, and barbaric gods, they fashioned their gods in the image of man, with his virtues and vices. The great playwright Sophocles reclaimed them.
The gods resemble mankind well in both looks and manners, yet keeping in mind their love for beauty, the Greeks imagined beings who were more mightier, more radiant, and wiser than mere mortals. The Greeks insisted that despite their vices, these gods were perfect, and without fault they were perfect. Perfect reflections of our own nature. The tales of these gods celebrates our strengths and reveals our weaknesses. The Greeks imagined a glorious kingdom for their gods upon the tallest peak in their land. High atop Mount Olympus, the gods lived in a golden temple built by their immortal uncles, the Cyclops. Within this splendid temple were 12 golden thrones, one for each of the most important gods. Unfortunately, mere mortals could never endure gazing upon the gods in all their radiance, and this grand pantheon could never be seen by the mortal eyes. Since the summit of Mount Olympus was always hidden in fluffy white clouds, and so we will need someone greater than men to continue this story. I will call upon the muses to help. We have spoken to the gods and have good news this year. They're mortals. Just for today, the gods have seen fit to tone down their ratings and roll back the clouds so that we may behold them in their Olympian banquet hall. They have allowed for my siblings and I to guide you back to the time of the ancient Greeks, back to the rugged cliffs and glassy seas, back to their tales of beauty and wisdom. Please indulge us in some brief introductions. Use of ethics. Fortes fortuna divine, since fortune aids the brave. I make writings to create exciting stories of heroism and bravery, to inspire courage. Urania, use of astronomy. Life in ancient Greece could be hard, but aid Astra, Heraspera, to the stars through difficulty. I inspire people to look to the stars and be encouraged.
Terpsichore, the muse of dance. I brought joy to mankind through dance. Nupede libero pulsanda telus. Now is the time to dance.
Erosa, muse of lyrics. Omne vinci amor, love conquers all. Therefore, I inspired the Greeks to write love songs and poetry. Roses are red, clouds are blue. There's no other audience as sweet as you. Polyhymnia, muse of hymns. I enable mankind to write songs of praise to the gods. For qui bene cantat peace will rise. He who sings will praises twice. Melpomene, muse of tragedy. Seek like a May vagrant. There are tears for things. I am the master of the tragically depressing. Some of the saddest tales ever told have been my creations. After all, who doesn't enjoy a good cry?
Doesn't notice on me cheek. Can you help laughing, friends? Thalia, muse of comedy. Like many of you, I prefer stories with happy endings, so I lighten my sister's drama by inspiring ice cream. Let us begin with the history lesson before we enter Olympus. It all started with my grandmother, Gaia. You see, for a long time she was all that existed, and since nothing and no one lived on her, she was lonely and downcast. But one day she happened to look up her eyes and see my grandfather Uranus, the sky. He wore a crown which was speckled with bright shining stars, and it caught Gaia's eye quite easily. It was not long before Gaia and Uranus were married, both overjoyed to finally have some company. Uranus quickly became known as the mighty lord of the universe. He was respected and feared by all. Soon after their marriage, Gaia became Mother Earth, bountiful and full of life. All living things arose from her. The couple's first set of children was a set of 12 glorious gods and goddesses, the Titans. My own mother, Mnemosyne, goddess of memory, was one of them. These gods were strong and mighty like their father, and beautiful like their mother. Uranus was very proud of them. Their second set of children was less beautiful to behold, but equally strong and talented. They were 3 Cyclops, skilled metalsmiths, with one shiny eye in the center of each of their foreheads. Uranus found them rather disgusting and did not take as much pride in them.
Look how hideous these creatures are. Nothing like the Titans.
The third set of children was quite a sight. These 3 children each had 50 heads and 100 arms. Uranus was even more disgusting than
Dear wife, these are the worst ones yet. How can I allow such ugly creatures to spoil beauty?
Truly, Uranus seized the Cyclops and the 50-headed children and threw them into Tartarus, the darkest of all pits. Poor Gaia was not pleased with this at all. She loved all her children and wished for them to be free. So after some thought, she fashioned a sickle and went to the Titans to ask for their help in defeating Uranus and rescuing her children. But only Cronus, the youngest Titan, was brave enough to volunteer.
Although I'm young, I am strong, and I will free my brothers using the sickle that my mother gave me.
Young Cronus was now the new lord of the universe. Perhaps he will learn from the mistakes of his father and show more kindness to his offspring. Let us continue on and see. Cronus did not free his siblings as he had promised his mother. As a result, Gaia was very angry with him. Instead, Cronus married the Titaness Rhea and took pride in his power over the world.
Ow.
However, during his reign, mankind enjoyed a peaceful golden age. living a prosperous life, safe from theft and violence. It was a glorious age on earth. However, it soon became clear that Cronus had learned nothing from his father's mistakes. Wanting to prevent his children from overthrowing him like he had done to his father, Cronus swallowed each of them as soon as they were born. What a wonderful plan! Instead of my newborn son Zeus, I will give Cronus a rock. Landed Zeus on the island of Crete, where he was able to grow up safely. Cronus never knew he was there. Like his father before him, Zeus, the youngest of his siblings, soon grew to be the mightiest of the gods.
Now that I am grown, it is time for me to avenge my brothers and sisters. I will use this thunderbolt to defeat Cronus and rescue my siblings so they can share in my power.
Zeus won a great victory over Cronus and became the next lord of the universe. He set the Cyclops free, sent the Titans to Tartarus, and a few other spies, and asked the 50-headed children to stand guard at the gates of Tartarus. Mother Earth was not pleased with this outcome. Once again, some of her children were trapped in Tartarus. She tried a few times to overthrow Zeus, but never quite succeeded. It seems the fates wanted him in charge. Zeus ruled very differently than his father and grandfather. He was glad to share his power with his siblings and several of his children. He even requested a golden throne to be built for each of them. So now, please make yourselves at home as we enter into the banquet hall of Mount Olympus. Here you will witness Hermes announcing the arrival of the gods, beginning with Zeus' siblings.
Her Majesty, Hera, Queen of Olympus. I am the beautiful Queen of Olympus, and I am very jealous. Zeus fears nothing except fits of temper. I detest all of Zeus's other wives, especially the mortal ones. Whenever I see that Zeus has another wife, I always find making her life miserable. One of my favorite torments is to send a swarm of gadflies after my enemies. Hestia, the goddess of the harps. I tend the sacred fire here on Mount Olympus. In every hearth on the earth is an altar to me, unlike my sister Hera. I prefer gentleness and kindness. Demeter, the goddess of the harvest, and her lovely daughter Persephone.
I caused
providing food and beauty for the people of Earth. My daughter Persephone is my constant companion. I love her dearly, and I cannot bear to have her out of my sight. But one day while I was visiting Earth, she was playing in a meadow. She wandered away from me. I did not know where my daughter had gone. I searched far and wide, but could not find my precious daughter. But with the help of the swineherd, I soon discovered she had been stolen by Hades.
Hades, my gloomy uncle.
I am the Lord of the dead, and I stole Persephone. I am a god of the woods.
Hades took me to the underworld. There I learned that mortals fear him so much, they won't even say his name lest they catch his attention. Instead, they call him the Rich One, because his realm contains all the most precious treasures of the earth. They also call him the Hospitable One, because he always has plenty of room for all who enter his gates. After he stole me, I became his wife in the underworld, but I did not have to stay. Zeus tried to persuade Hades to let Persephone return to her mother. However, because she had eaten some pomegranate seeds, she was required to spend 3 months of each year in the underworld. Each year, while Persephone was in the underworld, Demeter would grieve, and nothing would grow on earth. Kind Demeter taught mankind to harvest crops and store food, so that people would not go hungry in the winter. Then, when Persephone returned to her mother, Demeter's joy would cause the whole earth to bloom, and mankind would rejoice at the return of spring.
Phew, I'm glad that worked out. I get nervous about that every year. Now, you're Poseidon, Lord of the Sea.
Like the sea, I can be moody and unpredictable. People call me the earth shaker because when I hit my trident upon the ground, the earth shakes and cracks. And when I strike the sea, huge waves rise up, destroying everything in their path. But when I am calm, the sea is still. You won't often find me at home, being the creator of horses. I'd rather race the waves with my swift steeds.
Now that all my siblings are seated, I would like for you to meet my Olympian children. Hermes, who do we have first?
Hephaestus, the god of smiths and fire.
I value peace and hard work, and I love my mother very much. You may have noticed my limp. I have not always walked this way. You see, one day when my parents were arguing, I took Harry aside. That made him so angry that he grabbed me by the legs and rode me all the way to the island of Lemnos. Ever since, I've walked unsteadily, as you now see. Despite my weak legs, I'm a skilled metalsmith. In fact, I made these 12 guns. What do you think of my handiwork?
Wow! Thank you, Charlie. Aphrodite, the goddess of love and beauty.
I am not a child of Zeus. I have neither a mother nor a father. One day, I mysteriously rose out of the sea on a cushion of foam. The west wind spotted me and blew me to the island of Cythera. There, the 3 graces greeted me and dressed me in fine garments. Then, they took me in a golden chariot to Mount Olympus. Zeus was worried that since I am so beautiful, the gods would invite to marry me. So, he chose my husband, Hephaestus, for me. To be honest, I'd rather be married to tall and handsome Aries.
Well, look who it is. Aries, my tall and handsome brother.
I am Aries, god of war, and I am great.
sake. I don't care which side I'm on, as long as there is much bloodshed. I have killed many with this sword.
Ouch, Mommy! I hurt my finger!
Well, you be seated. Athena, the goddess of wisdom.
That is my brother. But none of us are very fond of him. He's so cruel and bloodthirsty, not to mention arrogant. I am my father's favorite child. Hi, Daddy. We have a very special bond. You see, I was born fully grown right out of my father's head. That's because he swallowed my mother. So he never be without prudent counsel. This shield helped me in many battles. But unlike my brother, Aries, I am fight for just causes. Perhaps you have heard of the city of Athens. I won that city in a contest against my uncle Poseidon. He gave the city a useless sulky spring. I gave them an olive tree with its many practical uses. Naturally, people like mine get better. So now I watch over the city and shower them with skills and arts and crafts.
The radiant twins of Apollo and Artemis.
I am Apollo, the god of music, light, and reason, and this is my twin sister, Artemis.
I am the goddess of the heavens, all new creatures.
My father gave each of us these bows along with a set of arrows. My arrows are sharp and strong like the rays of the sun.
My arrows are as gentle as moonlight and give no pain to whomever they hit. I love the freedom of hunting in the woods so much that I asked my father if I could remain unmarried. He kindly consented, and so I remain a free young huntress forever. My brother and I have always been great friends, but things changed when I became friends with a talented hunter named Orion. Since Orion and I shared the same hobby, Orion and I spent most of our time together, and Apollo was just plain jealous. Although Apollo sent his scorpion that killed Orion, I soon forgave him. Together we fashioned Orion's image into the brightest constellation of the winter sky, that when my youth friends would never be forgotten.
Being the god of music, I trained the muses to sing beautiful melodies together. I used my lyre to help them tune their voices. I traded my entire herd of sacred white cows for this lyre, but I will let my brother Hermes tell you that story.
Ooh, my turn. Hermes, the god of a lot of things, at your service. I remember that day well. It all started when I decided to be an Olympian god. I was born in a cave, but being Zeus's son, I felt that I deserved to live on Mount Olympus. So one day, just after I was born, I stole 50 of Apollo's sacred white cows in a very clever way. So then I hid them, sacrificed 2 of them to the Olympian gods, and used their entrails to make strings for the very first lyre. When Apollo came looking for me, I pretended to be innocent. Oddly, he didn't believe me. So he chased me up Mount Olympus, where Zeus encouraged me to make amends. I offered Apollo my lyre in exchange for all of his cows and his magic wand. A pretty good bargain, wouldn't you agree? So one day, Zeus was so proud of my cleverness that he made me one of the Olympians. My plan had worked.
So you see, Hermes' ability to talk himself out of trouble and his quick thinking make him the perfect god of merchants, travelers, thieves, and all those who live by their ways. His cleverness made him well qualified for a few other jobs as well. For the gods, he acted as their herald, always knowing just the right words to say. For mankind, he graciously taught them to use words and persuasion to talk themselves out of trouble. He was great at helping merchants to close good deals and at teaching politicians to speak convincingly. A faithful God, he kindly led travelers to the best roads and led the dead to their final home in the underworld. Now all the thrones are full.
But wait, Dad has one more son, Dionysus, the jolly god of wine.
Are you kidding me? His mother was mortal. and died before I was born, but my quick thinking father sewed me under the skin of his own life until it was time for my birth. I was raised by the nymphs in the valley of Nysa and learned how to make wine from the grapes that flourished there. I taught my skill to mankind and brought them much joy. That is when my father decided it was time for me to come to Mount Olympus. And now I would like to share the bounteous feast with you. Jen, are the nectar and the rose ready?
Yes, ready and waiting for you all. Shall we begin with nectar?
Yes, please.
To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under heaven. The rule of the gods was not meant to last forever, as with all human endeavors, the time of the Greeks came to an end. And as we rejoice in the fact that even though the muses are now silent, their stories continue to be told. And as we rejoice in the fact that the heavens declare the glory of God, we see the constellations designed by the ancient Greeks, and we are reminded of their great tales. Tales which celebrate our strengths, reveal our weaknesses, and make plain our need for a God who is greater than anyone these myths can offer.